points. It's also why we're jumping into game 2 of this next series as well. And spawning in... there we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressfan, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing himself, as he is currently teamless. It is DRG. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Taiwanese Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Nice. And we did miss out on game 1, but we are at least jumping into game 2, and Nice is leading the series 1-0. Oh my. Something I was not expecting. I was really... DRG is coming in as a favorite player. You know, he's one of the stronger Zerg players in South Korea, so for Nice to be leading the series is very impressive, especially considering it was a pretty long game. It was like around 15 minutes or so. Around 15 or so minutes, so... yeah, very impressive stuff. We have been casting a lot of Nice recently in our own tournaments. He's been competing in Sparkling Tuna Cup. Nice has been competing in the Grand Platypus Open, Tenacious Turtle Tussle, and Nice has been looking really powerful against the C-Zerg players. I'm talking about Ender, Gogo Joey, Miyamaika, these hyper-aggressive Zergs. Nice has been looking strong, he's been looking dominant. But now we level up from that, and we get into the Korean Zerg players, and DRG, he can play standard, he can play normal, he can play straight up. So for Nice to take a game, yeah, impressive stuff. But we'll see. We'll see how DRG can adapt, can react, how he can overcome, and potentially advance on as... ooh, Nice. Okay, so it's a gate expand into a second gateway. So a 2-gate opener from our Protoss player. With this, of course, is going to have additional... so he's going to be starting off with additional Zealots, going into a very stronger Adept timing as well. He will have far more units than is usually the case. And DRG does confirm this with his Overlord Scout. He does see how fast the second gateway is, and he should be preparing mentally and eventually with Lings. So he's aware of how aggressive Nice is about to be. Meanwhile, back at home was a hatch gas pool opener into a third base. Very standard stuff out of DRG, going to be happily droning, saturating his bases. Getting ready from here. Okay, so interesting. It's a double gate opener. We delay warp gate to get a faster Stargate instead. So Nice going for a delay here in the initial Adepts. Really quirky build from Nice. So typically what we should see is these 2 Adepts are prioritized, and there you go, they are on the way. We get into Warp Gate, we get 2 more Adepts behind this to go up to 4. We can go up to 6 Adepts as well, and we can be hyper-aggressive on the ground. Nice is going to be delaying that a little bit, and this means that we're going to have an Oracle in conjunction with these Adepts out on the map. So Nice is going to be very aggressive here. He's going to have a lot available to harass to try to hinder the economy of DRG. As, ooh, it is not an Oracle, it's a Phoenix. Okay, nice. You have my attention. It's going to be a Phoenix first to shut down this Overlord. First 2 Adepts are making their way across the map. Should have more Adepts behind this. Meanwhile, Lings are going for a big counterattack. The Adepts are not at home, and because this is a Phoenix and not an Oracle, we cannot defend it. Nice has to cancel this base, and this is the risk, the danger you take by skipping your first Oracle. And of course by moving out. And we're going to get some drone kills. Drones are going down, don't get me wrong. But Nice is contained to 2 bases. Zealot goes down. Back across the map, we get 3 drones. But the Adepts are being hunted down. And as the Oracle pops out, forced to spend its energy, forced to activate his Pulsar Beam defensively back at home. And Nice is still stuck on 2 bases. He takes 2 more gases. He's getting into additional Oracle production. Should still be looking to regain control of his third. But as he moves out, DRG, he's waiting for him. Ay, ay, ay. And behind this DRG, he is free to drone, free to just macro. He doesn't have to cancel the third again. He is free to just focus on the mid game, focus on a longer game. As the Lings are being cleaned up, we do have a decent amount of Adepts now. And finally Nice can expand. What's important is that even though Nice's expansion has been delayed, he didn't tech up. He didn't go for a faster Twilight Council or Robo or Forge. This is all still after the third. So just a very late third base here from our Protoss player, and nothing to really show for it. These 3 Oracles, they have a lot of work to do. We do have a lot to do. We do have a couple of Adepts shading to the third base. They get 2 Workers. At the same time, the Oracles, they dive in between the Natural and the third. They get a Queen! And they're gonna get a second Queen as well. And potentially a third. 2 Queens go down for only a little bit of hull damage. A worthwhile trade. A worthwhile trade for Nice. As behind this is going towards charge. I appreciate this. So Nice, he can hit a pretty strong timing with charge and +1. I imagine Nice is going to be throwing down a Templar Archives momentarily so he can hit with Archons as well. We'll see how Nice pieces all of this together. Meanwhile, across the map, DRG, he's just working towards his Roach Warren, getting his Infestation Pit. He may have lost a couple of Queens, but looking at the units lost tab, he's barely lost any workers. DRG's economy is, for the most part, untouched. And he is looking to snowball out of control, especially when this 4th base gets up and running. Before that, though, Nice, he's pushing in. Looking for some more Queens. He's going to get 1. Gets another Queen, but loses the Phoenix in the process. Takes a lot of hull damage, taking a 4th base, and we're getting into, oh, Swarm, oh my god. DRG, it's been a while. Has been a while. For those wondering, Swarm hosts, they do amazingly against Archon-based, against Zealot-based compositions. Without Blink Stalkers, without too many Phoenixes or Skytoss units, it can be really difficult to punish these Swarm hosts. So I'm loving this from DRG. A little bit old school. Okay, these Locust Waves, they can punish a 3rd base or even the 4th. We got options. Meanwhile, Nice, he went up to 4 Oracles. My god. That's a lot of DPS. Here we go. DRG is going to be applying pressure to this center base. He should be stopped, though. We have Shield Battery, Cannon, Oracles as well, and we're going to be focusing down these Ravagers. At the same time, here comes the Locust Wave, does get into the Mineral Line, and is focusing down a lot of probes. Oh my god. 19 in the blink of an eye. 22. GG. 22 probes went down, game-ending damage, and DRG ties up the series 1-1. GG. But again, it wasn't just a Swarm host winding it back. You know, we should put a lot of emphasis on the fact that DRG's Ling counterattack contained Nice's 2 bases for far too long. He was stuck on 2 bases for an insanely long time, and yeah, as a result, DRG was able to just get really comfortable, was able to saturate his 3 bases, tech up eventually into the Infestation Pit, into the Swarm hosts, and that snowball out of control. So really nice setup, really strong early to mid game from DRG, and Nice just a little bit overzealous. Remember, everything kind of escalated out of control when Nice went Phoenix first. Not just Phoenix first, but he also sent his first 2 Adepts across the map, which is a really greedy thing to do. It meant that he had nothing to defend, and he was punished for it. And with that, we have an ace match. Oh, I'll fix that. There we go. We have an ace match. We have a game number 3. Hello, Emperor Fubu. Thanks for existing and letting me watch some nice StarCraft at 5:30 a.m. Swedish time. Oh, you're welcome, Cream Puff. You're welcome. I'm glad that, yeah, it's a good way to wake up in the morning. Good morning to all the lovely Europeans out there. Buenos dias, buenos dias. As we're getting into the ace match, game number 3 of this series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing himself. It is DRG. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Taiwanese Protoss representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Nice. Okay, and this time I expect Nice to have a much more standard opener. Remember, there was so much happening with Nice in game number 2, where he had his 2-gate opener, but into a delayed adept, into that Phoenix, if you remember. There was a lot happening. For now, we have our gateway. DRG, he's getting into his hatch gas pool, forced to take the natural base here. So DRG is going to have a bit of a more awkward time in the early game, but outside of that, his economy should be looking strong. Really, my eyes are on Nice. My eyes are on the Protoss player to see how they open up, and already a very greedy opener here from Nice. He's going for a gate expand, a delayed cyber core. So very economic here out of Nice. Because of this, his tech is going to be delayed. His initial adept is going to be delayed as well. And DRG is about to confirm this. He comes in with the Overlord and he scouts how late the cyber core is and how early the expansion is. So because of this, DRG, he can maybe cut some corners. He can drone up more. He can, cut lings. Get into a faster third. Or he could try to punish this in some way as well. Again, DRG, he has options. Again, recognizing how late the tech is going to be as well. As we are not going to be delaying Warp Gate. We've already been cutting corners, so this makes sense. We have Warp Gate on the way, we have an Adept on the way as well. Behind this, it should be a Twilight Council, and there we go. Twilight Council is in production for Nice. But I was wondering, typically if we go for a Stargate opener, Warp Gate is delayed as a result. But because we're hyperfixated on Warp Gates, Twilight Council makes more sense. And this is looking like a Glaive Adept opener here from Nice, but we'll see. Nice can be quirky in his own right when it comes to his openers and what his tech really means. He can take different twists, he can take different turns. So my eyes are still on Nice. Meanwhile, across the map, DRG, he's just happily droning, saturating his bases, getting his natural up and running, expanding, taking his third on time. Nothing too fancy as DRG is getting into his Queen production. I wonder if he did notice that Warp Gate wasn't delayed. It is not Glaives. We have not pulled out of gas. It's going to be a DT opener. The Dark Templar are upon us. For Nice, we have 2 Overlords in position and getting ready to scout. And DRG, he needs to get a read on what's going on. He may know it's a Twilight Council opener, but it could be Glaive Adepts, it could be a 2-base all-in, it could be DTs, could be Charge, could be a slow lot all-in. So we're trying to get a read on what's happening. There we go. Overlord trying to go into the main base, but it is going to be deflected. It's going to be denied. Warp Prism is on the way. By the time the Prism gets across the map, the Dark Shrine is going to be done, and we can warp in those DTs. Do we have anything back at him to defend? We have a Bailey Nest on the way. Lings in production as well. No lair, no spores. Until now. We have a spore at the third base. Okay, a safety spore. DRG, he's not cutting too many corners, thankfully, but he's bane busting. just so you know, we have 20 Lings in production. DRG is planning on busting his opponent. Cutting workers here at 39. I mean, this can also defend against Glaive Adepts, yes, but this could be turned on its head and be very aggressive. And the spores are finishing up. DTs, they waddle towards this third base. But we have detection, we have Lings, and we do get a surround. Ooh. 1 DT goes down. Good pickoff. A good pickoff as the DTs headed towards that natural base as well. Another surround comes in, and ooh. Nice, barely keeps them all alive. Behind this DRG, he's droning. Roach Warren on the way. Lair as well. I'm sure he's happy to know that these DTs just haven't done any damage. We have to warp in an extra DT for that second Archon as well. And DRG just counterattacks. He denies the third, and Nice cannot hold on to this. Oof. He's stuck on 2 bases. He's going into Blink. Oh my god. Shadow Stride is on the way. Charge as well, which makes sense. Charge does make plenty of sense. The Archons, they get a couple of worker kills. Three drones go down in total. Not too bad. I also appreciate that DRG, he's not using his links to defend against the Archons, only the Queens. He's got 6 Queens, chasing them down. Alternating between focusing on Archons or, oh god, or the Prism. Oh, the Queens, they barely do survive. And once again, we see another cancel on this third base. Now, those Archons, they did kill a lot of workers. 11 drones went down to those Archons, so some good harassing damage. But, nice, he still can't expand. He still cannot get a third base. So, was it worth it in the end? For now, I would say no. We have a couple more DTs, though. They're going to be waddling into that third base. Getting quite a lot of drone kills. We need Lings, we need Roaches here to defend. The Queens are starting to go down. They are starting to go down, but reinforcements coming just in time. One of the Archons gets focused, and yeah, nice. He has to warp in another Archon. But finally, he's getting his third. Now, this is a twice cancelled third base, so very late from Nice. His economy is struggling as a result. There we go, he's main-arding his workers over. Getting into his forge, into robo production. Second robo is on the way for double immortals. But DRG is already on a 3-base. He's already on a 3-base economy. And the Spire is done, and Mutas are on the way. And these Mutas, they're going to be... They have so much potential. They could either try to shut down the Warp Prism, which is definitely... They definitely could. Or they could ignore the Warp Prism and go across the map instead. Go for some worker kills. Go for the mineral lines. Oh. Oh, as we still do require detection. There it is. The Mutas are out. They have been revealed. Nice is getting ready back at home. We have cannons on the way. Shield batteries. Yeah, the jig is up. Archons are in position, and these Mutas, they're not going to be able to do too much. They shouldn't do too much. So head into the main and get another couple of workers. 6 probes going down already. And it's going to get more in the natural as well. Ay, ay, ay. 1 cannon is not enough. 10 workers go down. DRG reciprocating the damage that he sustained. He comes back in. Archons are out of position. Prism is out of position. And even if these Mutas get cleaned up, they've already done what they needed to. They've done some economic damage. They bought the room that DRG needed to expand and take a 4th base. And now he's building up a Roach army. Again, he droned up to 66. That's 3 base saturation. He hasn't made a drone since. He's just focusing on Roach Ravager. No more Lings, no more Banelings. Just Roaches and Ravagers. At the same time, we do have some harassment going on, and a lot of drones are going down. 5 workers in total. But I don't think DRG cares. As he pushes out across the map, gets on top of the shield battery. Ooh. Mutas, they do join in as well, and it looks like DRG just has an overwhelming army. He may be losing his 4th base, but the 4th was only for Larva. Was for nothing else. We can warping defensive DTs, but yeah, it's not going to be enough. GG gets caught. DRG takes down a Nice here in Game 3 and takes the series 2-1. GG. GG. The DT opener just did not do enough for Nice. He was able to get 11 workers with his Archon harass, which was impressive. It was impressive, but by that point, he had already been forced to cancel his 3rd base twice. The Spire wasn't scouted. The Mutas, they just got out of control. That allowed DRG to amass a massive Roach Ravager army and break Nice's 3rd base. Really well done. GG, well played. DRG does eliminate Nice from the tournament, But a shout out to Nice. We didn't get to cast game 1, unfortunately. We didn't get to cover it, but, you know, apparently Nice did force the ace match. So, yeah, a shout out to Nice for at least taking a game off of DRG. That is not an easy thing to do. That is not an easy thing to do at all, so GG, well played. Very well done by Nice, and congratulations to DRG as he does advance on in the tournament.